Okay, so let's just take a moment to take a breath before we start. Taking a deep breath in through the nose for the count of 2, holding for the count of 2, and exhaling for the count of 4. Inhaling for the count of 3, holding for the count of 3, and exhaling for the count of 6. Inhaling for the count of 4, holding for the count of 4, and exhaling for the count of 8. Okay, so the purpose of that exercise was just to, obviously you've just come back from a walk, you've just had to move your car, and I've had a busy morning as well, so just to give both of us the opportunity to relax before we get started. So, what would you like to talk about this morning, Arthur?
I think the biggest thing in my life now, I am standing in I am step away from deciding if I am fully dedicated to a new role, but I am still full-time in a previous life, let's say. So full-time job, and it's in my guts. I need to do it, but then again, I am scared to do it. If you understand what I mean. So the decision is sort of made virtually, but in reality, I am still scared.
Tell me about scared. What does that feel like?
It's about providing. So you already know, because we talked a few times, that I have a family, so 3 kids and a wife, and we live far away from family home, let's call it. So there is no support whatsoever where we live. It's only me, my wife, and kids. That's it. And having that in mind, my wife is not working because obviously we have a 4-month-old baby now, and every single baby we have is under 5. So it can be a little bit hard to juggle between having working full-time or even part-time and taking care of kids. So that's the reality. So I need to provide. In my mind, obviously, it's very important because that's my family. But then again, I know I would be able, that's my mind saying, to provide from the new life I want to have as a coach. So the decision is just hard to make. Obviously, before I am earning enough to quit, I cannot quit because I wouldn't put the food on the table. But even the limit is in my mind. Even if I will make the money I need, the same amount of money monthly I'm making from my job, it's still like, is it secure? Is it safe? That's the belief, the limiting belief in my mind.
Is the financial aspect of it the only concern? Are there others?
No, it's only financial. I think it's running in my blood, sort of say, because there was always financial problems that my parents had, which is, I cannot say they had a lot of money. That's fair, but they were always entrepreneurs, which means no holidays, no vacations whatsoever, because there is work 24/7, 7 days a week. So from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. they were outside in work, and there is always that fight, that energy of fight in the air. We need to earn money. We need to fight for money. We need to work hard for money.
So it sounds like there's as well as the financial aspect, there's a concern that if you become an entrepreneur, a lot more of your time will be consumed into the business.
That's something I've observed throughout my life, yes.
Is that something you believe to be the case?
Partially, definitely, yes. Somewhere deep inside, I've heard from my father saying, "You need to work hard." I've heard that from so many people, from teachers, from every single one on my education, parents, friends, and a lot of people around. So when I was born, let's start there. When I was born in 1987, Poland was still a communist country. So maybe I don't have like a memory of such standing in queues and with the vouchers for food and stuff. But definitely I was young enough to have some memories about it. And even after that, so the first supermarket I saw in my life was built probably when I was 8 or 9. Before that, it was only like a off license, let's call it, or like just corner shops that you went to and you bought your bread or whatever you were buying at the time. And uh, it's it's just different because I've seen people struggle with money all the time. Plus, if someone was determined enough to work really hard for the money, they had a little bit more. So that's something engraved, I would assume, in me that I know it's not true, but I also know it's true because I've seen it.
So what you said, if you work hard, you'll have more money.
You need,
And
I
what
think,
then?
I think the quote would be the quote that is engraved somewhere. It would be, you need to work hard to earn a lot of money, to have a profit of whatever sort.
So that you can, if you finish that sentence, so that you need to earn, you
To
need to be,
provide for a family.
so providing for the family, is that only providing for their financial needs? I know it's important, but there are other things than
Yeah.
providing financially.
Yeah. So obviously I would like my life, my family, but my kids' life, my wife's life to be better than mine was when I was young, which I didn't went to for a holiday with my parents, and I didn't enjoy, let's say, free time with parents because I didn't see them a lot. So I would like to have more financial how we would call it, freedom, to be able to take 2 weeks off, to be able to take a month off if needed, or just work from whatever place on earth, let's call it, for a while. Even if I will go for holiday, let's call it, then if I need to work, I can grab a laptop and work from a place I am in for like 2 hours a day or 3 hours a day, instead of being stuck in one place for all the time in the world. And when you want the holiday, it's always because if you definitely know what I am saying about, because when you are working in a tense environment, in a stress environment for all the time, 1 week, 2 weeks, even 2 weeks in a row, it's not enough. A year, it's not enough. It's just not enough, because you will need that 1 week to just ease your thoughts in your brain, so you're not really relaxing of some sort, or you're just easing your pain in your mind.
So I'm going to perform a little piece of magic now, Arthur. This
Okay.
pen is now a magic wand, and as I wave it, your bank balance is increasing. It's 100,000, it's 250,000, it's 500,000, and bam, it's 1,000,000. You have 1,000,000 in the bank. Money's not an issue for you.
Mhm.
What are you going to do next?
I'm taking my family for a month outside for just laying on a beach. That's the first step. Later on, I would work, but I would work differently. I would work, as I've said, as a coach that I'm building that, but it comes with that emotional limit, belief limit in my mind. So I would just have that space without that thought behind, because I'm don't get me wrong, I'm working on it every day. Um, I'm making that decision every day when I wake up that I will work towards something different. That's why I find energy. That's why I find time. But I still have that thought behind in my head.
So do you need to have a certain amount in your bank before you can do the things that you really want to do?
Uh, probably that this is what I think I need.
So how much is that? How much do you think you need?
I would need as much as 6 months of. So let's say I spend X amount of money a month, which is whatever, 2,000, 5,000, whatever it is. I would need to multiply it by 6 and have it on a bank account to have 6 months of freedom, let's call it, quote unquote, of my peace of mind, 6 months of peace of mind that I can transform the life I have and transform the career I have. That's in my mind. But at the same time, I know I am just doing it, even having that work. I'm just working harder, if you get what I mean. So I'm in the circle of, I understand, there is a belief I have, and I understand that belief is only a belief, but I'm working harder and harder to get out of it.
So what have you done to get out of that belief?
So I've invested in a coach to coach me how to be a coach, and I'm building a group of people, so Facebook group, and I'm building my clientele, a future clientele. I'm providing them with a value that I hope will turn people I talk with to customers.
So you've set on a course of building the coaching business.
Still being in a circle of working full time and being a full time father. So it's just what it means for me. It's what I wanted to talk about, let's call it. There will be a point that I'll probably, and I believe it with every single cell in my body, that I'll get to the point when I am earning that money that I want to earn for a start to drop my job. So let's say all I need in the world to be a minimalist, it's like 3,000 of whatever currency we are talking about. And let's say I have 2-3 months that I am earning that money from coaching, and I know it's established and it's going, and I have a conversation, so I have potential clients, so everything will be fine. My worry is, it's not even a worry, that's something I feel will happen, is I will need to decide. I will need to drop the job. So by dropping the job, the full-time job as an employee, I will drop the false security that is held in my head. And I'm freaking like out about it, let's call it.
So you're freaking out about the prospect of relying solely on an income from coaching.
Yeah.
Even though you believe with every cell in your body that you will earn that income.
How when you say it, it sounds even more odd, but it's true.
And you've taken actions. You've already taken actions to generate the income that you want to generate from coaching. you believe with every fiber in your body that you will generate that income, but yet you're freaking out about giving up the stable income from your job.
Yeah, yeah. And to add a little bit more weirdness to it, I am so used to working 12 hours a day. That when I have a day off, I'm still working. So I had a full-time job for quite a while now, but I also used to have businesses, different partnerships, businesses, and I always had something to work more in my life. But I was never 100% in it. I was always divided by two things, or I have a full-time job plus let's say cleaning business. I have a full-time job and I was a part of jewelry business. I had a full-time job and I had a marketing company. And it's that just proves to me, and probably to every single person who is listening, that I am freaking scared of not having that security and that monthly check, which is not really, whatever money is on a check, it's never too big, if you know what I mean. It's like nobody can give you that amount of money that you will be like, yeah, I'm happy with it. If you want to have your own company, if you want to be on your own. So I'm like two people inside one body. One person wants to be sole trader, director of a company, let's call it, a chief executive of some sorts that works for himself and help other people. But the other guy who is sitting on whatever side, left or right, he's a person who needs to be as an employee and have a line manager and take that orders to just do them.
So this is by the sounds of it, it's a habit. It's a belief system that you've known for most of your life, by the sounds of it.
Correct.
You saw your parents being entrepreneurs and not having the time for their family. You grew up with the belief that you gotta work hard to earn money.
Yeah.
Yet you have this desire, this drive to be a sole trader, to earn your money through something that's much more meaningful and purposeful for you than your job. And that's a challenge for you. Do you think that would be a challenge for anybody? If you were the coach and I was the client saying that, what would you say?
It's definitely a challenge, and when it comes to habits, I really deeply understand them, and I was able in my life to change habits when I needed to change them. And it is emotional reaction, and if you would be my customer, my client, I would say to you, obviously, what I would say, it's one. What I would help you with, it's a second one. So what I would say, it's you just need to change your personality by changing your habits. I am weirdly aware of it. But I also was aware that my anxiety or panic disorder was a habit. Not only, but 50% of it was an emotional reaction and a habit. And I was able to, after years and years, I was able to let it go by dedication and working with it. That one is really hard to let go. And I don't know why. It's really hard to tell yourself that you can do it. And when I was working, I'm just giving you more background here. When I was working with my anxiety and the panic disorder, I was also working with I'm not good enough feeling, because that was one of the biggest accelerators of my anxiety. And I've worked it through. I know I'm good enough, and I know I'm worth it. It's just I don't know which road to take, which path to take to get into the source of the problem. I feel I have now, which is I need to have a security behind me. I need to provide for family. Obviously, I need to. I know about it, but how I will provide it shouldn't make any difference. If I'll provide it by being full-time employee, or I will provide it if I'll have even the same amount of money, but I'm doing something I feel is more purposeful and it's more. I love it. That should be better because I will be a better person.
So it sounds like you know very well what you want to do. Um, Behind that knowledge is the knowledge that you've got to take care of your family and you've got to pay the bills, which obviously is highly important.
Definitely, yes, it is. But I think just to give you my feeling now, I think there are some doors that are starting from the start of the conversation we had. I think there are some doors that started to open, and there are different doors. And I never been in that room, so I know I'm talking metaphorically, but I love metaphors. So, yeah, what I am feeling now is it's deeply related to the fear my father had that I was observing, that he won't be able to provide for family because of whatever reason. I don't know what reason. It was different times. It was times of insecurity that I would never understand. Probably you wouldn't even understand living in communist country that nothing is yours. Everything is governments, whatever. So yeah, that's the road I will definitely need to check out.
Is your father still alive?
Yeah, he is.
And what's he doing now?
The same thing he was doing 30 years ago.
And is he still struggling with those thoughts that?
Yeah, yeah. They are both well. They are 64, both of them. And because my mom and my dad are working in the same, they have the same company, the partnership, let's call it. So they used to work with each other for the whole life, and it's nothing changed. A lot of things change. Obviously, they have a house, the bigger house, and whatever have you, and a beautiful garden. And as I've said, they've made enough, but they don't have any like retirement plan, if you will. So they will need to work until the end.
And what did that cost your father in emotional terms, in family terms? What did he have to give up in order to have that work ethic?
Well, definitely time, nerves, double bypass surgery, a lot. I would say a life.
Tell me more.
It's so the uncertainty that was building, and it was building around us, as you can tell. I have a brother. It's something that not only takes the time that you should spend with children, and you know you have a child, so you should the most important thing you can give to child is time. And I know about it, and I am trying to give as much attention and quality time I can give. Obviously, I'm working, so it's not every day and it's not every hour, but still, I'm trying to do it. My parents didn't have that knowledge, so they definitely lost the time. But we lost the time. I lost that time with my parents, so it's not only them; it's all of us.
So if there was something you would like to say to your father, what would you say?
It's not worth it. Like 12 hours a day working or 14 hours a day, it's not worth it.
So
Having a huge house is also not worth it.
He achieved the financial security, but at the cost of his health And
That would be better, but he didn't achieve the financial security. He probably achieved the financial security of some sort for us, for the children, because if you sell the real estate, if you sell all the goods built around it, yeah, probably it's a little bit of money, depending on a currency you are living in. So Poland is zloty. I'm living in UK, so it's pounds. Probably I wouldn't change it. So exchange it. So it is some sort of financial security, not for them. So it's double trouble. It's not worth it at all.
So he put all this effort in because he believed it would provide financial security. That not only did he not achieve the financial security, but it cost him his health.
Yeah. That's the biggest part, the health. It's a time now where my brother and we have children, so they have grandchildren. My son is 2 years old, so he will be able to, let's say, run around in 2-3 years. He's running around now, but obviously with more of a emotional meaning behind it. And I don't know if he will be able to run behind him. Probably he will not be able to run behind him,
And what's your son learning from you?
I hope that he's learning at least the quality time we spend with each other. He's learning that there is always a time, and I can always leave things, even if I'm working and he wants me to be with him. And when I want to be with him, I can leave it and spend that quality time. I would just sleep less. But he's sleeping, so he doesn't see it for now. But I know that's something that is not good for me, because I will probably lose health if I'll continue to do it for years. And that's why I don't want to do it. That's the choice.
But you have a very clear picture that your priority isn't so much earning a financial security. Your priorities, to me, it sounds like your priority is your children.
Definitely, yes. And I would always choose children. I wouldn't choose money ever. Family is the most important. Obviously, I have that vision in my mind that I want to secure them financially as much as I can. And it's not about real estates and stuff. It's just give them the education they would like to have, if they would like to have it. That time we can provide to them as a family. So that holidays, that time spent not only on a beach with palm trees and whatever have you. It's just a quality time, even if it's around the corner on a field with making a picnic, whatever it is. But have that time when you can be 100% with them, not thinking about, for God's sake, I need to pay that bills and I don't have it for the next 2 days. So it's not even about building castle. It's more about knowing that the next year or so is you don't need to worry about it, and you are making whatever you are doing whatever you can with as less time as you need to provide for your family. So doing what you love, for me, doing what you love to you, or what is your passion, whatever is your passion, would give me that.
So just take a moment there, Arthur, just to, you painted a picture there of playing with your children on the beach, and just to visualize that, just take a deep breath in as you see yourself and your wife and your children playing together. There's lots of laughter. There's lots of fun. What else is going on?
I think the biggest thing for me when I look at visualize, and I'm really very close to visualizing daily, is the happiness. It's that freedom and that time we have with each other. That's the biggest wish I would have for me, my kids, and for us, for our family, that we can spend freely time with each other without the worry that I had as a child for all the time.
So obviously that picture is the reality that you're determined to make for your children. But the reality at the moment is that sometimes you're working 12 or 14-hour days. And if you need to reprioritize things, the price of that can be your own sleep.
Correct.
And are you going to enjoy that time if you're exhausted?
Definitely not. Not as much as I would enjoy. I would still enjoy it, but definitely not freely as I would love to. Probably I fell asleep halfway through.
Well, will you fall asleep halfway through it?
That's maybe exaggeration, but the thing is, emotionally, I wouldn't be 100% with them, because there is always, when you're exhausted, and everybody was like, we all been exhausted once, at least once alive. You just cannot be 100% involved emotionally, and yeah, that's the struggle too.
So is it true to say that at the moment, working in your job and also trying to build a coaching business is costing you quality time with your family?
Definitely yes.
But you can't release any of that until you have some more financial security.
That's the feeling I have. Correct.
So you reckon you need 6 months money in the bank before you feel secure?
That's something I learned myself to believe in.
Why not 3 months? Why not 12 months?
Good question. Because it's getting more scary. Why not 1 month? Why not 2 months? Because it's getting more scary. Plus, I have a very delicate relationship with anxiety. So every anxious feeling I have I'm not afraid of it because I've been there. But I am cautious about it. So I know it's there. And I know about it, and I tend to reschedule things, or let's say stretch them a bit when it comes to building more calmness in my mind. So if I know I need to achieve something, like obviously I will, because I work and I still have the position. So if I need to do something, I will do it. But if there is a plan of my personal plan, individual plan, putting too much pressure is, I don't know how to phrase it. I like to get out of my comfort zone when it comes to a lot of things like, let's say, diet and experiments on my body and whatever have you, or learning, but not when it comes to finance.
What are you afraid of? What's the disaster?
The biggest disaster would be I don't have money. When it comes to finance, obviously, that's the biggest disaster. That's something that I am afraid of saying to my wife, or coming clear with, like, we don't have any money, sorry.
So you're not going to leave yourself in that position, and that sounds very pragmatic, that with all our desires, everything, all of our dreams, all of our purpose, all of our meaning, we still have to put that on the table.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And by the sounds of it, you're doing that very well at the moment, and also trying to build a business that you really feel driven by.
Oh yeah, I am really driven by it. It's some sort of a passion I have, and I had it for years. As a child, I wanted to help other people. Then I had 16 years out of that thought because I had a severe anxiety and panic disorder. But shortly after I was free of it, the desire was still there. It was just layered by other fears, but it was still there.
It sounds to me as if you're doing a phenomenal job of balancing all those conflicting needs.
I'm definitely trying to, but I'm also aware that what I'm happy about from that conversation, I can tell you straight away, is I have a different. I felt something different, and that difference, as I've said it before, it's around the emotions that I was surrounded by when I was a child. So, as you know, I have a deep knowledge around the emotions and how to work with them. And I think that it's really possible that emotions I feel now are not my emotions. I don't feel it yet. I need to study, and I need to get deep down inside that. But that's really possible. That are not my emotions at all. That's emotions I was surrounded by.
So, whose emotions are they if they're not yours?
I think my father, maybe even my mom too. Maybe it's combined.
And tell me about your mom. Did she, by the sounds of it, she worked hard as well?
Oh yeah, but the biggest difference is my mom is still, she's really calm person. She's a complete opposite of my father, who is really emotional in a sense of aggressive way. More, he will show all the he's it's like a walking bomb of some sort. So he will always show that he's angry, he's not happy about something, and there is so just to make it long story short, you don't need to really work hard to recognize what emotions are flowing through his mind. He will show it straight away. Even I am not saying they are all negative, because when he's happy, but when he's angry and when he's anxious, he will show that he's angry or anxious. And I think he was anxious most of the time when it comes to finance.
And you described how you suffered badly from anxiety. Is that something that you learned from your father?
Mm, what I've learned about my anxiety is I've I've gained I've learned to have anxiety because of my emotional reaction that I had when I was 3 years old, and it was a combined thing. So first of all, my father moved to UK, leaving us behind. Obviously, it wasn't like he didn't run away. He was looking for a better future. It was just months after the Lech Wałęsa jumped through the fence and the communism was done, and we are like in democracy all over again. And the vision of democratic country was just growing in people, but it was a shithole after all. It was, you know.
Mm.
So he moved to UK with my uncle and like three other people. They were looking for a better future for all the families. But obviously, I was almost free, so I didn't understand it like that. I did understand that he abandoned me, so that was the first anxious feeling, and that was my fault. This is what I've learned after years of trying to get to the bottom of things. And the second thing was that my granddad, his father, died from a heart attack, probably 3, 4 months after he left. So he needed to come back, so that building a future didn't happen. And that's where my whole anxiety started. Obviously, I didn't have anxiety for years after because I was just a kid. So really, my
Mm.
mind, my adrenal glands were working fine. Everything was working fine as a kid. But later on, I've just developed anxiety, health anxiety, which led to panic attacks. And that was next 16 years of my life. But it started not with anxiety about money. It started with anxiety about health and being abandoned. So that's quite a different thing, I assume.
It just occurs to me, and this could be totally wide of the mark, that possibly your anxiety about not being financially secure is related to a fear of abandoning your family.
That's also something I didn't thought about before. And it's plausible, yeah.
Obviously, you want to create the best life possible for them, but I'm just picking up that there might be in that in that in that there might be just a hint of your father abandoned you and you're not going to abandon your children.
Definitely, I need to examine that more deeply. It's possible. Definitely, yes.
Would it be abandoning them if 1 month you ran out of money? Would that be abandoning your family?
No, if I would stay.
I mean, would it be abandoning their needs? Would it be there's more than staying.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, definitely. There is something. Yeah, there is something about it. I would probably more of. I would be more embarrassed than abandon. But it is. Yeah, it's abandoning their needs if you wanna look at it like that. And probably there is an angle I am looking at it like that. Definitely, yeah.
At the end of the day, though, I mean, financial security. I know this as well as anybody else. So financial security is so important because if you can't put bread on the table, then you're in big difficulty. So I wouldn't suggest for a moment that you should abandon that responsibility.
No, I'm not. I'm definitely not looking for someone to say to me, "Nah, you can just drop the job," because I know it would be some sort of reckless, and especially not having that that income from coaching yet. But yeah, but I'm really pleased that we've talked because it's opening the other doors I can look at, and me being me, I am not afraid to walk inside the dark room and just try to find a switch to turn the light on, even if it's painful.
How do you feel in your job? Is it a job you're happy to do? Is it what's how are you generally about that job?
So the problem with me is I can find pleasure in every single thing I am doing. That's the coping skill I've learned in my life, having anxiety for 16 years.
You describe that as a problem. That doesn't sound like a problem. That sounds like a marvelous technique.
It is a marvelous technique. Yes, it is. But it's also something that attaches you to things you do. And I find working with people, as I've said, not only fascinating because I work around people, but it's also something that I am passionate about. So as long as I am not sitting in an office alone, I can find pleasure in it. And I found that pleasure in every single thing I've done. And I was an insurance broker when I was working having panic attacks and anxiety in an extremely KPI environment, target driven environment. And I used to have panic attacks on a phone with customers, but I still found the pleasure in it because I was working with people and helping them. So I'm saying about it because it's a problem. If I would hate what I do, I would probably, I would be in a different place. I'm not saying in a better place. Probably maybe I would have a depression. It's a wrong way to think about it. But on the other hand, it would be easier to make it, maybe not. Maybe I am just now daydreaming. Maybe it wouldn't be better. Maybe it wouldn't be easier. But I'm trying to to say to myself it would be easier.
Okay, so let's just do another visualization. So what part of the UK are you living in?
It's just around London. It's 30 minutes from London.
Okay,
It's a small town. It's not London. It's a small town.
It's 2 years time, so it's the end of July 2023, and I finally am able to get on a plane and go on holidays to London. So I give you a call, Arthur. I'll see you in London later this afternoon. We'll meet for a coffee. So I arrive not too far from your house to a favorite cafe, and we're sitting having a coffee. Tell me what are you up to these days, Arthur?
I would say I'm enjoying a coffee because I have time to enjoy that coffee, and I can provide you with a quality time. And if you have an hour, 2 hours, or 3 hours, we can just talk about things that we've missed. And not talking for last 2-3 months because probably we'll keep in contact, but it's obviously not daily. And we would just sit there and spend a quality time. And me as a person individually, probably I would have already bought a house in Italy just for vacation and holiday, and a run escape place to focus on things I am doing and for my family to have a holiday. And I'm just enjoying my life and working with people.
So that sounds absolutely phenomenal. It sounds as if you have the perfect life. So when we spoke 2 years ago and you were struggling to make the decision, what changed since? What allowed you to make that decision?
I am tended to say the income I am producing from generating from coaching business I have. And probably mindset. Now, when I am talking about it, it's more of a mindset than a decision because decision is made. Mindset. I always felt my mindset is brilliant, but I also knew that it's not.
So when we spoke 2 years ago, Arthur, you were concerned that the coaching business wouldn't provide the consistent income.
Yeah, the mindset changed. And it can provide whatever I wanted to provide.
And how are your children?
Oh, they're brilliant. They're always brilliant.
And your time with them? And your time with them?
Do I have time with them?
Yeah, how is your time with your children?
Oh, yeah, how I want it to be. So, it's I know you can relate to it. It's just every single minute and hour is precious. It's just, I can look at them all day, smiling and playing and probably crying sometimes and being angry sometimes, but being happy, being a child, just being a free child.
Perfect. So it's coming up to 10 to 12, Arthur, and I know you have another call at 12. So how are things sitting with you now?
Can you repeat? I was still daydreaming.
Yeah, okay. How are things with you now? I know you're under pressure for time, so how are things?
Briefly, I can obviously tell you how I feel. I just feel that the doors are open, the different doors to my emotional point of view that I've been in opened. So I will definitely uh, try to explore, and I will get back to you 100% to talk it through, to maybe ask some questions and go deeper. Even though we've definitely made that deep journey throughout emotions.
And how did it feel to do that? It sounds as if you're used to doing that anyway.
So I remember the time when it wasn't my comfort zone. And I totally know that making that step, when I first made it, it was really hard and it was really uncomfortable, in a lot of meanings uncomfortable. I am used to it now. It took some practice, but it's so much worth it. It's so worth it. It's comfort zone in the end of the day. If you sit in your comfort zone, will take you nowhere. So if I want to stay in the place I am working 14 hours a day, I wouldn't go there. But I know I am not ready to stay in that place. This is why we talk. And this is why
the most important thing to making change is recognizing the need for it. So
brilliant. Yes, that's
you've
true.
You've made a lot of progress in that regard.
Yeah, and I feel I made a lot of progress today, even though it was only an hour and a few minutes. But I just feel that doors may take me to the place I want to be in. That I will explore that emotions that I didn't explore yet. And I deeply believe that every single day is another day for a change. And the only way to do it is getting out of comfort zone. So thank you for taking me for that journey, because that journey, even though it's not maybe pleasant, but it's definitely valuable. So thank you.
Great. Anything else you'd like to discuss just in our last few minutes?
When the coffee, when we talked about the coffee, when we can join people, like have one coffee. You're in Ireland, are you?
Yes, I am. Yeah, yeah.
It's just like what, hour and a half with all the flight,
It's
probably 2.5, 3 hours.
at most, yeah. So there's absolutely. I have several friends in London, so I'm looking forward to a trip to London and definitely meet up.
If I will have a journey to Ireland before, I will definitely let you know.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I'll buy you the coffee in Ireland.
Thank you.
You
Yeah,
know,
I'm
the
buying
implication
coffee
of
in
that
UK.
is that you buy it for me in the UK. Okay. Okay,
Thank
that's
you. Thank you
perfect.
once
Thank you very
again.
much for your time.
Thank you. Take care.
I'm just going to switch off the recording.